Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this Halal Food Podcast. Today we have one of the most recognizable persons or personalities in the global halal arena. I'm with brother Mohamed El-Mouelhy from Australia. I'm going to invite him to introduce himself so that we will go straight to the questions we will ask today, so that inshallah he will clarify a few things and also throw more light on some of the things we'll be discussing today. The essence of this podcast is for people to learn from experience, people like our brother Muhammad, and for the younger ones like myself to get to take certain inspirations from the elderly or the people with better experience in halal certification, halal food production, and the general well-being of Muslims.
Thank you very much indeed. My name is Mohamed El-Mouelhy. I was born in Egypt, but I am a British subject, and I actually learned about food in England. Yes, and I emigrated to Australia. I think it was about 48 or 49 years ago. Wow. And, I was in the food, in production, in administration, all around experience in food. And one day I saw, in the mosque on Friday, they were distributing some papers. I took the paper, put it in the car. I said, I'll read it later. Yeah. However, I didn't read it later. 6 months later, I was cleaning my car and I found the paper and I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I thought I'll keep that and put it in the house for another 2 or 3 months. And then one day I found it and I looked at it. Yeah. And it was saying, first of all, it didn't say who is distributing the paper. And it was saying, brown bread is halal and white bread is not halal. Wow. And it had, saying this number is halal and this number is not halal. And with my experience and, in the trade, I thought, that's false, So I started researching and I actually wrote a book on halal. It was my only book on halal. And I gave it to the Australian Federation of Islamic Councils, which is the only peak body for Muslims in Australia. MashaAllah. And it has been established since 1974. Wow. And I thought to myself, give it to them. I don't need to make money. I have from my own business enough. Give something to the people. Yeah. And they printed it and sold it out in 5 weeks. Whoa. So because people, at that time had a thirst for knowledge of the correct way to go about halal, or to know what halal is. Yeah. We all know how to slaughter an animal, but we know nothing about food technology. Yeah. And that was lacking at the time. And halal certifiers, at the time, there were 34 halal certifiers in Australia. A country of 24 million had 34 certifiers. Oh. Okay, and they grew up to 49 at one stage. Whoa. Almost there was one certifier for every 1,000 Muslims.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And everyone kept his own information to himself. I thought to myself, no, we have to give the information to the people.
Absolutely.
You can't if you keep a knowledge to yourself, it's not knowledge anymore. Yeah. So, unfortunately, the organization that I gave the printing right to, they printed it once and said, no, the companies are not wanting to have halal certification because they have the knowledge there. Yeah. So, but they started asking me for consultation. Every time they get a client, they say, oh, is this halal? Is that halal? I mean, that's an organization that has been established for quite a while, and they didn't have anything to guide them on food technology. They knew how to slaughter. At that stage, everyone was in meat. So I consulted them for 2 years. Then after that, I started my own organization. I got permission from the government to be a certifier, because here in Australia, without having the government permission, the federal government permission, you cannot certify.
Okay, then that is different from the UK.
So in here, we are regulated, and I honestly think it is the best thing that happened to Australia was, I don't know if you are aware that at one time we had many abattoirs were slaughtering horses at night and selling the meat as beef, and kangaroos as lamb.
Wow.
And one container was caught in the United States. They just tested at random and found it was horse meat. So, of course, the Australian government knew that export of meat is very important to Australia. So they set up the a board of inquiry, a royal commission to inquire in the food substitution rackets.
Okay.
And that was in the 80s. So one of the recommendations was for the government to be involved. And ever since, it really has improved. So we have one standard for all certifiers, but everything in meat, but not in food technology, not in processed food, but just in meat. But that's a start.
Yeah.
Okay?
So, Brother
yes.
Mohammed, when you establish your own certification body, did you get any friction from the existing certifiers, or were you welcome with both hands as a brother?
If they could kill me, they would have.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
The rumors, I can tell you some of the rumors, because I'm an innovative person. I don't sit on, and say, oh, let the customer come to me. Oh. I actually was recruiting clients myself by sending them a 10-line letter, saying to them, look, there is 400 million Muslims around us, and if you want one of them to buy your goods, then you have to be halal certified. Okay. If you don't know what halal certification is, call me. If you don't, I will call you within 1 week. Those who didn't call, I called myself. And honestly, I was getting 6 out of 10 people or companies becoming halal. I certified 135 companies in the first year.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
But that is by going out to them, not waiting for them to come to me. Yeah. So that's one of the innovation that I did at the time. Ever since, I have never advertised. It is the clients that advertise for me by telling each other.
Wow.
So, if you want halal certification, go to Mohammed. They still know me as Mr. Halal, despite the fact that, I'm retired 9 years ago, but they know the company. And MashaAllah. My daughter is getting the benefit of that.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
So these are the things that, I innovated in. I actually used to write in a Muslim newspaper an article on halal.
Yeah.
Particular product, so that people can know, why is it halal or why it is not halal. And that became very popular. I had one line free, so it's called Halal Helpline. People could call and say, is this product halal? Is that product halal? Many of them used to argue with me. Now, according to this madhab or according to that madhab, brother, you're asking me and I'm giving it to you according to the madhab that you follow.
Yeah.
So some of them say, I don't follow any madhab. I follow the Rasul. During the Rasul time, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, there was no food technology.
Yeah. So you also, sorry to interrupt. You also mentioned, you mentioned something very important, which I don't see a lot of halal certifiers doing today, because you said you write, or you used to write, you used to tell people, or have even a dedicated phone line to inform people about halal, the status of halal food. what I'm seeing is that many people wouldn't want to write, many people wouldn't want to declare these things because they will believe that they will not get clients. Why did you decide to take the unconventional route?
In Islam, you have to give to get. Okay, you plant one seed and it gives you a plant with 700 seeds in it. Okay, so besides, some of the certifiers, they keep the information to themselves because they are afraid that some other certifier will have the information and will get the client. Oh. I don't care. The client can go to whoever he wants. They go to my company because they want professionalism, and clients will pay any money for a good service. You know, if you go and buy a suit from Burton, for example, in London, you know, you can get a suit similar to it from any other organization. But if you go to a tailor and he's going to take your measurement and produces a suit that suits you, you go again and again and again. So that's it. You have to give service, and it has to be a professional service.
Okay. So my next question is, as somebody who established a very successful certification body, what are the main challenges you face in terms of, so for instance, if a complex company comes to you to get halal certification, did you have to recruit the expertise of others outside the organization, or what were the main administrative and other technical challenges you face or other certifiers are facing today?
When I started, I had everything perfectly done before I opened my doors. So the design of the certificate, for example, had the Australian colors, which are green and gold. So the certificate is actually golden color with a green border that I copied from a Quran that my father gifted me 30 or 40 years earlier. So had a computer, yes, and had a platform which was advanced at that stage. You know, the certificates were generated by the computer, not printed by hands, and you know, and had to sign certificates by hand. All these things, you know, you had to be ahead of the markets. So these were some of the advantages. The other things is getting employees, full-time employees, who were actually qualified.
Yeah, that's an important one.
Yes. So I had food technologists, I had food scientists, and I had chefs. As a matter of fact, you know, all the people that are employed by my daughter at the moment, all of them have degrees. Two of the employees are actually doing their master degrees.
Wow.
You know, so this is how professional you have to be.
Absolutely.
Actually, relying on slaughtermen to become certifiers is not good enough.
We've also had situations where some mosques will go to a processing site and issue a certificate. And the problem is, look, although a mosque may have scholars who are well versed in the Quran, in the Hadith, and all the Sharia law, but the technical bit may not be there. What's your view about scholars setting up certification body without any technical advices?
They will fail in the long run. The trade, which I call halal certification, it's a trade, it's a business. And unless you are acting in a professional manner, you will not succeed in the long run. Today, certification is totally different from when it was 40 years ago. Or even 15 years ago, even 5 years ago. Today, you have to have ISO certification. Okay? Now, this is another thing too. In 1994, I was the first, or my organization was the first organization to obtain ISO. And I had this ISO until very recently, when others started to have ISO. So ISO now became a standard about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, but I had it for nearly 20 years ago.
I thought it was it was a completely new thing because
No,
I
no.
only heard about it 3 to 5 years ago. But I'm surprised you've said almost 20 years ago you already had it. That is very fantastic to hear.
Yes, I think it became a standard in the world today when the OIC entered into halal certification, and I must say one of the innovative people is Mr. Ihsan, or Brother Ihsan, who is actually running that part of it in the OIC, and that is how actually ISO became more known to Muslims. But how I fell on it is actually I found some of the clients, and I must admit, I will mention the name of the client, was Qantas Airline, had ISO. And when I went in to certify them as halal, so that the meals that go on the planes are halal, found they have ISO. So I started looking, what the hell is ISO? And I thought to myself, that would be an advantage. And it has been an advantage. If a company has got ISO and it's got a choice between my organization and another organization that doesn't have it, they came to me.
They'll come to you. Yeah.
Yes. So really and truly, you have to be professional in everything. Research, read, acquire knowledge that you don't have.
Yeah.
But sitting on your laurels and say, I know everything about halal, I don't need to learn anymore, you will be surprised.
Okay. Thank you very much, Brother Mohammed. I want us to now move to the value of the halal market. In terms of the size of the halal market, there are so many businesses who are still not sure whether to go into halal or just stick with conventional food production. Can you give us a brief overview of how the halal market is growing and why halal certification may be very important to food businesses? So those who are not in halal or those who are there but not sure of the value of the market.
When you have to prepare your tax papers, or submit it to Her Majesty's tax office, you have to go to an accountant. You go to a professional person, and he prepares it. He gives you the balance sheet, a certificate that this is all correct, and you submit it, and the government will believe you. But if you're doing the account yourself, the government will say, yes, I better check that. So this is how you should do. Go to a specialized company to organize things for you. They will do it cheaply, fast, and professionally. So we have to always be professional. As Muslims, there is a saying in Islam, say, "Rahim Allahu mri'in arifa qadra nafsa." May Allah pardons somebody who knows his limitation.
Okay.
And unfortunately, many people don't know their limitations. Many organizations are running after the money. Believe me, if you do the right thing, the money will come to you without you doing anything, just by you doing the right thing by the clients. So the company that I established, it's increasing by 15% every year ever since. So that shows you the size of the market. Now, Halal Certification Authority Australia is certifying roughly $30 billion worth of export every year.
Wow.
And it only does products for export. If they sell it locally, well and good, but we will not certify a restaurant or a butcher or something like that. So I stopped all that years ago. It's not worth it.
Okay. And why do you think some companies are hesitant in getting halal certificate? Is it because of a fear of the word halal, or what may prevent, or what may prevent companies from accessing the halal market and taking advantage of the market?
The problem is actually the certifiers themselves. They have a bad reputation sometimes.
Okay.
One client, we started actually certifying not only in Australia, we certify in 32 or 34 countries in the world.
Whoa.
Every continent on earth we certify in.
Mashallah.
Africa, Europe, Asia, the Americas. So why? By reputation. So the first company that I certified outside Australia was in Holland, and they told me that they went to a local certifier, and he just pulled the paper and he said, "What do you want certified?"
Very sad. Very, very sad.
So for the client to mention that to me, it means they were not satisfied that they were doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And also, this is the reputation.
Yeah. Also, Brother Mohammed, some companies, although you just give them a paper without auditing them or doing anything, you think you are doing them a favor, but behind you, they will be asking themselves a question: what the hell is going on here?
Look, every company has got a QA, or a quality assurance person, or or a food technologist, or whoever. Now, these people have got organizations that they belong to.
Yeah.
And they meet other like persons from other companies.
Yeah.
And one person say, "Oh, we are looking for halal certification. We don't know who to go to." And another person who's certified say, "Go to XYZ." Another one says, "Go to BSW." So you get it by recommendation.
It's true.
If the client is satisfied, he will recommend you. If he's not satisfied, he will not recommend you. Next year, he will go somewhere else.
Absolutely.
So that's it. So you really have to rely on doing the right thing for the client to stay with you.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I find as well is that halal is a niche market.
Correct.
Some people heard about it and say, "Oh, you can make money out of sending it to Indonesia or India or Pakistan or Saudi Arabia." But they haven't got a clue about the country, how it is. So we actually help them by advising them, or at least used to, because now advice is against the certification.
Yeah.
So we used to advise them, okay, you have to have an agent there and to sell your products. Some countries, like in the Middle East, you go to an agent and he wants you to sign an exclusive thing, and then he doesn't sell anything that you are doing. So you lock yourself out.
Yeah.
So we used to give advice like that to the clients, and other things too is that they think just simply by having halal certificate they will get the clients. No. If you want to sell your products, you have to have a client, somebody who is going to buy your product.
Correct.
Before you seek certification. Don't have certification unless you are a rich company. You acquire certification, then you put out your team of salesmen or saleswomen and sell your products. Small clients will have to actually find a client first or a customer first, then acquire halal certification. One of the things that I found as well is that one flavor house actually were surprised that they could get certified within a week or 10 days. Okay.
Yeah.
And they said that the company that was certifying before made them wait 6 months before they issued the certificate. And the reason is they didn't have a full-time auditor, a food technologist. So they used to get one work for a couple of days and then, on contract basis. Yeah. So it wasn't good. So if you have your own food technologist and your own sheikh on the premises and they are full-time people, you can gain the customer immediately.
Yeah.
When your client has got a customer, he wants to sell now. He doesn't want to sell in 6 months' time or in a year's time, because somebody else who's certified will get that client before you do.
Wow. That is interesting. Now, Brother Mohammed, I wanted us to move to halal standardization. You have been in the halal market for a long time.
Yes.
Since then, for the 40 years you've been around, we haven't been able to achieve a unified global halal standard. Do you think we are any closer to achieving a unified halal standard where that standard can be used in the UK, in Australia, in Saudi, the same standard? Do you think we are closer to it, or you think it will never happen?
It will happen eventually.
Yeah.
But certifiers have to be taken kicking and screaming until they do. And unfortunately, some of the small ones can't afford the very high and exorbitant prices. Like, for example, to be certified to be accredited with one organization, for example, it costs roughly $50,000.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Whoa.
So you can imagine then the small companies or the small certifiers are not going to not going to survive in the long run. And perhaps in a country where you have 5 or 6 certifiers, they can get together, join forces, and get accredited as one organization. Really and truly, I would like to see one certifier per country.
Okay.
And that certifier maybe actually is composed of 15 other certifiers, but working under the same umbrella. But it won't happen because everybody's jealous and think that he is better than everybody else.
Yeah.
The problem with halal certification, it has many alpha type males running the organization, and they do not fault themselves. They never think that they are doing the wrong thing. They are the best. Nobody is better than us. But you have to learn. You make mistakes and learn from them. I made mistakes and learned from them. Others, unfortunately, think they are perfect and will continue to be perfect. It won't happen in the next 10 years. It might happen in the next 15 to 20 years. But ISO is gaining momentum. If you want to go to the Middle East, you have to have ISO. If you go to Turkey, you have to have ISO, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
The standard in the world now, it actually belongs to about six to seven countries.
Oh.
The people who started it is Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. These were the original organizations that said, I will accept this certifier, I won't accept that certifier. And honestly, it was on, if your face fit, you will be a certifier. If your face didn't fit, they will take the one with a face that fits. Okay, there's a lot of nepotism in the market.
Very, very sad. Very, very sad.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it is. Unfortunately, this is actually being less and less than before.
Okay, so things have improved now.
Absolutely. Oh. The arrival of the United Arab Emirates and the Gulf in general has made the other accreditors to become a bit more professional.
Okay.
Not that they were not professional before, but they became more professional.
Yeah. And as Muslims, I think that is a good thing, because if another Muslim can influence your life through better way of living, I think that is a positive thing.
This is another thing, what you say, unity. This is why I had this halal certification forum, halal certifiers forum, is to get the certifiers from around the world. Now, I'm not a certifier anymore, so I'm trying to help other certifiers of getting together and exchanging views. many of the certifiers, big certifiers around the world, they write to me privately, asking me questions, and I answer them privately. I never reveal who they are or what questions they ask. I am happy to part with my information.
Okay.
You know? So inshallah, they will be better.
Inshallah. One question.
Sorry, forgive me.
Yeah.
There are two organizations around the world that are, composed by certifiers, and this is the World Halal Organization, World Halal Certifiers, and or certification, and the World Halal Food Certification.
So what's the difference between the two? Why can't they just become one?
They have tried, but one wants to be the real one and the other one is underneath, and the other one has got the same ideas. But one of the two is actually relies on bribes. And this has to stop.
That is very sad. To be honest,
I'm being very honest, and I spill the beans, and I have no fear from any mortal person. You know?
Alhamdulillah, that's very good to hear, Brother Mohammed. But I just feel now that you are, although I as a young man myself, I will always recognize you as somebody who was in certification and who is still in certification, because you are still adding value to certification. Even agreeing to talk on this podcast, you are still adding value to certification. So my question to you is, look, you know there are problems with at least one of the World Halal, whether World Halal Council or World Halal Food Council, one of them.
Yes.
What role can you play? Now, I'm sure you command a lot of respect because they will see you as a neutral person. Do you think you can still play a role in cleansing that organization?
I am willing to do whatever they ask me to do. The only thing is, I have a lot of enemies.
That's sad to hear.
Because I don't mince my words.
Okay.
So, but those who want to listen, I talk to them. Those who don't want to listen because they are the best in the world, then I leave them alone.
But Brother Mohammed, that is very sad, because as a young Muslim growing up, I want to grow up to be a person who speaks the truth. But if speaking the truth is going to attract enemies, as Muslims, we should be ashamed of ourselves. That you said you don't mince your words, you speak the truth, but people hate you for that. That is just unfortunate as Muslims.
Brother, I used to have organizations here in Australia that every year they go and visit governments, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, India, whatever. And they used to malign me. Now, I have never, ever gone to any of those countries and say, so-and-so is bad, but I am good. So-and-so is bad, but I am good. I never did. Not interested. I am not even interested in telling them I am good and the others are bad. Mm-hmm. Not interested. People have to find out for themselves.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, these certifiers are afraid, so they have to malign other certifiers. Every certifier go and malign every other certifier.
That is just incredible.
And then they say, when you say to them, "Are you Muslim?" "Oh, Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar," and they don't follow the dictum of Islam.
Yeah, that's a shame. That is a big shame on us as Muslims. Absolutely.
I haven't earned any less by giving information to others.
Yeah.
On the contrary, I have a following.
The market is big enough for all certifiers to take a small chunk. We don't need billions to live. We need whatever you need, whatever is yours. If you do the right thing, Allah will give it to you.
Your rizq has been decided by Allah. Nobody is going to take 1 cent from you without his permission. Absolutely. And you will not take 1 cent from somebody else without his permission. Sorry, penny in your case. Yeah. Without Allah's permission. So why worry? Do you think you are the one who's getting the customer? No. Allah has put the idea in your head and you go in, but you have to work for it. And Allah will send you the clients.
Brother Mohammed, may Allah bless you. May Allah give you good health to continue to add to the sector. Whether people listen or not, alhamdulillah, is good and at least now you've retired, you can advise people whether they listen or not is up to them. At least you've done your bit.
I am willing to do that for any organization that wants to get in touch. Will always, and do it privately without being public. I will do it. If they ask me publicly, I will do it publicly.
One thing I just want to declare to my listeners is that when I approach you, you've never met me from anywhere. I approach you via a WhatsApp message. I introduce myself and you did not ask me any question. You immediately said you will come on the podcast. So I thank you very much and may Allah bless you for wholeheartedly without any objection, because you knew you were coming to deliver something that others can benefit. So I really thank you very much for your generosity for coming. And I'm not going to pay you even 1 penny for coming on this.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I don't accept money for this information.
Alhamdulillah.
You know,
Alhamdulillah.
If anybody wants halal certification, they can go to my daughter. She's the one running the company, not me. I give my information for free.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I really appreciate that. Now, my next question on standardization before we move on is, we know as a young man myself, I joined the halal industry not long ago, but I've seen that stunning, mechanical slaughter, istihala continue to divide opinion of scholars. Do you think that we will get to a time where there will be a unification on the acceptance of stunning and mechanical slaughter? Those two questions.
What divides certifiers is madhabs. One says, I'm Hanafi. I will not accept color 120, carmine, because somebody 800 years ago said carmine is haram. Please, rely on technology. Have a few technologists sit down together and look at the subject in details. I see Hanafis are distributing information with some things missing specifically to prove their point. And I see Shafi'is who are actually saying, yes, you can use carmine, and they are doing it openly. Now, I'm a Hanafi born and bred, but I have to follow the Shafi'i in this respect. We have to really, Sayyidina Muhammad didn't have madhabs. Okay, madhabs came afterwards. They were scholars and they relied on their own interpretation. It's not God's law. It is man's law. So you have to be flexible in this respect. But you have many sheikhs who say, no, Hanafi, I'm Hanafi, I certify according to Hanafi. Another one says, I'm Shafi'i, Hanbali, Malki, all these things. Rely on all of them. See who said this, who said that, and see which one is really true. There is something in Islam which says, if there is benefit in it for Muslims, then you take it. Look, years ago, insulin was made from pigs. Now, all Muslims accept that pigs are haram.
Yeah.
Therefore, anything from a pig is haram. So, would you prefer that your father dies because he won't take, he has diabetes and he can't take pig's insulin? No, they were taking pig's insulin. Now, they are taking heart valves from pigs. Many Arabs go in Harley Street in London. You go there in the street and you find many people are wearing Arab garbs because they are looking for doctors there. And they have heart valves made from pigs. Now, the latest thing, of course, a whole heart is taken from a pig and it is used in a Muslim. Does that mean he's walking around with a pig inside him? Is that halal or not halal? What is better, for you to die, or for you to live and benefit the society that you are in and benefit yourself? So we really have to start having our mind open. Being closed mind is not going to get the Muslims anywhere. Why are we the dregs of the world? Because we don't use the kabatha, the brain. We are relying on somebody who died, 1,200 years ago, or 800 years ago, or Ibn Taymiyyah, or this or that. Let us look at everything scientifically and decide. So if there is manafa', means benefit, if there is benefit in it for your health, then take it. I'm not saying start taking everything or start eating pigs. No, but just use your head.
Yeah, that is very interesting, linking technology, benefits of technology or advancement in science to our benefits, and then trying to sort of relate our dietary or our culture, our way of life to that.
One more thing really is gelatin.
Yeah.
Many Muslim certifiers are, saying, oh, gelatin is relying on istihala or change of state. Totally wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Gelatin is not from istihala, but istikhraj, meaning it's an extract. Okay. Gelatin exists in the bones or in the skins already. All you are doing you are separating it from the skin or separating it from the minerals and other things. So anybody
it's not istihara. Hala.
No, sir, it is istikhraj, meaning an extract. You are just separating it from the rest. Istihala is in the case of wine made into vinegar. And Muslims object to saying, oh, this is wine vinegar. You can't make vinegar without starting with alcohol.
Yeah.
That is why in Shafi'i, for example, because they believed that wrongly again, is that in the olden days, they used to put a piece of bread, which is got yeast in it. They put it in the wine. And then when the wine turns into vinegar, they say this vinegar is haram. Why? Oh, because the bread became contaminated by the wine. Therefore, when it turned into vinegar, the bread is haram, then the vinegar became haram. Totally unscientific, totally wrong. Why? Because the wine that entered the bread has become vinegar as well. So where is the haram? Okay? But for Shafi'is, they will not use wine vinegar. They use other things. See, so you have to rely on science.
Yeah.
Of course, what I say, there will be many sheikhs who will be cursing me now, but
I hope not.
Unfortunately for them, their curses will be corrected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who will say, no, Muhammad, take many hasanat and give them sayyi'at. So science is very important. How the Arabs or the early Muslims became the scientists of the world. Why? Research and research and more research. They didn't sit and say, oh, I'm a Muslim, therefore everything I do is right. But they looked into things. Astronomy, they invented the clock, they invented many things. Look at the Avicenna, and people say, oh, Avicenna. In actual fact, his name is Abu Sina or Ibn Sina, okay? Oh. But in Spanish, the V is pronounced B and the B is pronounced V. So when they write Avicenna, is actually pronounced Avicenna.
Okay.
But we don't look at these things. We take it, because some Englishman wrote it Avicenna, therefore it's Avicenna.
I think, Brother Muhammad, another thing you've mentioned is research. I think as Muslims, we need to do more research rather than just sit back
Yeah.
and say, "Oh, we know everything. Everything is here, so we are the best." No, no, no. I think we need to get out there and do more research for ourselves.
And that is where, when in a country, at the moment, for example, in Australia, there are 27 halal certified.
Wow.
Okay. We were down to 12 at one stage. Now we are growing. Everybody who thinks, oh, there is money in halal certification becomes certified. Many of them don't have the right to export because they don't have permission from the federal government. So now we have 27 and probably another 15 that can't export. 27 can export because they have permission from abroad. So if we all get together worldwide, we can have the funds to have a research organization that can actually supply information to all halal suppliers.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're not spending money on research.
Yeah, that is another sad development. Now, Brother Mohammed, let's move on to our next question, which is a rise in political or far right movement parties who are either calling for a complete ban on halal slaughter without stunning, or linking the proceeds from halal certification to the funding of terrorism. Why do you think this movement is increasing? And do you think they have a point to prove, like telling people not to eat halal certified products, that you the certifiers, or as a former certifier, your proceeds are going to countries to fund terrorists?
This has, an inquiry, an Australian government inquiry in the Senate, which is equivalent to your Lords, did inquire into halal and found that all that is unfounded. No halal certifier in Australia, and in my belief, or anywhere in the world, actually sending funds to terrorists. Correct. However, let me clarify something for you.
Yeah.
Arabs, who are actually the ones that started Islam, are Semitic people. Now, does the word Semitic actually rings a bell that some people actually say, if you criticize me, then you are anti-Semites? They are the ones who are going against halal. Okay. Wow. If you look at the ones in the United States that I can't remember their names now, I'm getting too old, they are all Jewish or getting funding from Jewish organizations. Like, for example, I think Clarion something, if you look at it, it actually pays money to people who are anti-Arabs and anti-Muslims. Okay? And what I did actually is somebody put in a video in a private organization, but they published it. And they had the logo of my company, and I sued them.
Okay.
Okay. And it cost $700,000 from my pocket.
700,000.
700,000, which is about probably 400,000 pounds.
If I had that money, I would retire.
No, brother, you don't retire. You put your money where your mouth is. Yeah. That is a very old English saying. Yeah. And believe it or not, I had my famous saying in those days, it's saying that they fought me, but when they couldn't win, either in the public arena or in the courts, so they decided that they want to make peace. So I said, according to Sharia, if somebody fights you, then you fight back. But if they want to make peace, make peace.
MashaAllah.
So I made peace with them. I mean, in the end, we settled. So I said my famous expression, Sharia law saved their bacon.
Can you throw some light on that, please?
Well, save one's bacon, it's an English expression. So I use that with halal with Sharia just to annoy the hell out of them. This organization and those people that fought me in those days, now they have been disbanded. I think a year ago or 2 years ago, they don't exist anymore.
Okay.
They were not successful.
It's interesting because not all Muslims, first of all, will be happy to invest such a huge amount of money to fight any bad thing about even Islam. And for you to do that, that was a very brave thing to do.
Brother, if you don't fight for Islam, what would you fight for? You have to. And actually, I'm very proud to say that in the United Kingdom, one of the organizations there did the same.
Yeah, I had it.
And they actually did their court case.
Yeah.
A benefit, So I think I even advised them at the time, but I can't really remember. But this is happening in the United States, in South Africa, and everywhere. And all that because our cousins, as an Arab, I have cousins, and they are Semites like me.
Yeah.
But they are the ones who don't want Muslims or Arabs to succeed.
Wow.
So any organization or a person that puts his head up above water and is actually doing something for Islam or for the Arab community or the Arab world, they get pressed on. But if you put your mouth where you put your money where your mouth is, you will find that God stands with you. If you stand with God, God stands with you.
Yeah.
Allah in our case.
No. So do you think, what would be your advice to other Muslim organizations that are facing a whole lot of false and fabricated information, either about their persons or about the operation of their organization? Do you think the legal route is the best way, or do you think they should take other routes like getting political influence to fight that?
You have to use everything in your
okay.
Anything that you can, you have to fight. But ultimately, put your money where your mouth is, and you will succeed. Many people, for example, I see around the world, they want to build a mosque. They buy the land and then they put the development application in, and suddenly all the people that are living around the mosque or the mosque to be, they will object to it, and they will go to their MP or the councillor and say, no, we can't, we will have cars going around. What happened when it is a church? You have cars as well, but what, my car is haram and their car is halal? So you have to fight these things. Maybe you can adjust, go to court. I don't know what the court system in UK regarding these things, but in here, you can go to the arbitration and see if you can get it built or not. And many mosques are around for, unbuilt for 5-6 years because they're waiting for the court to decide.
Yeah. So, Brother Mohammed, my last question is, do you have any final words for the global halal certification arena? As a Muslim who has served in the halal sector for a long time, you are now retired. What advice do you have for younger ones like me and even older people who are still in certification on how to develop the market for the future, for our children and for our people to follow us? What advice do you have for them?
One is you have to rely on professionalism.
Okay. Yeah.
Two, being a halal certifier is actually doing da'wah. You're actually bringing the knowledge of Islam to people and companies that never thought about it, or all they thought about Muslims are just, terrorists, somebody who wants to kill me. No, we don't want to kill you. We want you to benefit by it, and we will benefit as well. And if you produce halal food, more Muslims will eat it. When I started, I wanted to have Australia as a halal country for Muslims to come in and eat halal for the year 2000 when we had the Olympics.
Okay.
And that generated a lot of business. Airlines were trying to have halal meals. Wow. Restaurants wanted to be halal. Hotels wanted to be halal. Manufacturers. And funny enough, some of those companies are still clients of my daughters to this day. So do it for Allah, and Allah will reward you here and in the hereafter. Do it for putting money in your pockets, and you will have a paltry amount, and you will spend it wrongly, and only so to show that you have a Mercedes-Benz car. I have a 10-year-old car, and I'm satisfied.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Thank you
I'm
very
not
much,
saying
brother.
I'm very good, brother. I have my failings the same like the next man.
Yeah.
Okay. But so I don't want to give you the impression that I'm the best in the world. I'm not. Yeah. There are people who are better than me.
And that is a very powerful thing to say, that there are others better than you. It's always good to say that, so that you are giving yourself some room for improvement. A human being Absolutely. Can never be perfect.
Absolutely. And improvement is the only thing that will make us better. Years ago, nobody used computers. So from the 80s, people started using computer. And today, if you don't have a computer, you can't do anything.
No. Yeah.
So, the first computer I used in halal certification was Commodore 64, believe it or not.
I need to Google it.
It was a little computer.
Okay.
It was portable, and it weighed 65 kilos. Okay.
Oh my goodness! If you give it to somebody free today, they may say no, thank you.
Every computer that I had, I still have it today as a museum piece.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Okay. And especially that one.
Yeah.
Had another computer which is not being used, not being even manufactured anymore, which was made by Canon, and it was a laptop. The maximum capacity was, I think, 90 megabytes or thereabout, and it had a printer in it.
Wow.
So the rumor around is that Mohammed was issuing certificates from the boot of his car.
Okay.
Simply because I was more advanced and took a computer, produced the agreement on the spot, and issued the certificate on the spot after an audit.
It's sad that people decided to get a story out of it, a negative story out of it. Yes. Unfortunately.
Still to this day, they say about my daughter is that she's not running the company. She's just the face of the company, and that I am running it.
Inna lillah.
I'm actually locked up at home here. I don't go out. Because of COVID. But no, that these are the rumors. She's very successful, and that hurts them, especially that she's a woman.
Alhamdulillah. And to be honest, I think she's done well. I've been with her on a webinar before. I haven't met her face to face, but the halal certification being a man-dominated world, for a woman to lead an organization, some people will not be receptive to her, but I think she just need to crack on. She just need to be brave and go on.
She doesn't worry, and in actual fact, the ratio of women to men is 5-4 in her company.
Oh,
so she has more women working for her. When I was running it, I had, maybe 9-1. Now it's the other way around. There are more women. And eventually they will be certified. Well, some of them will be certified as one day, and you shouldn't stop them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very rare to find.
there is room for many certifiers. There is business. And she gets maybe 2 to 3 inquiries a week.
Wow.
So, and she's not the only one. As I said, there is 27 certifiers in Australia. She's only one of them. So the others are getting inquiries too. So imagine you're getting about 50 to 70 inquiries a week.
Wow.
Between all of them. So there is room for everybody.
Inshallah. Brother Mohammed, may Allah improve your health. May Allah increase your wisdom to continue to share with the younger ones. And inshallah, one day when I come to Australia, I'll try and visit you. It will be good to meet you physically, inshallah.
You're very welcome, and I'll take you to a halal lunch.
Inshallah. So thank you very much. Inshallah, we've come to the end of the podcast. Thank you very much.